But first of all, I want to welcome everybody to our 13th episode of the EnergyBin Insights, the webinar series that explores solutions for PV repair, resale, recycling. So thank you for joining us today. My name is Rob Van Demeltrot. I am the Senior Account Manager here at EnergyBin, and we're an online B2B business community for solar professionals who are committed to accelerating a robust and sustainable secondary market. Our members collaborate via trade, networking, educational activities like this webinar. And of course, these webinars are made possible by the collaboration, within the industry professionals like yourself. We want you to join our EnergyBin community to help support these efforts, to buy, sell equipment on our safe trading platform, and to network among your industry peers. Also, we want you to subscribe to our YouTube channel to access recordings for this episode and other EnergyBin Insight webinars. All right, solar power is green technology, and that doesn't stop when the panels are taken down. In the United States, an estimated 90% of uninstalled panels end up in landfills, and that's really not a green solution at all. What we need to do is strive to build a circular solar economy through proper reuse and recycle. Now, reuse means many of these decommissioned panels have value and can be resold. Now, since 2020, used panels have represented only about 7% of the total panels for sale on EnergyBin, which is about 5.5 million since 2020. That's about 500,000. For many companies, this is an untapped revenue stream. Responsible recycling means that we're not throwing away valuable raw material. By 2030, the National Renewable Energy Lab expects the United States to generate $60 million in raw material recovery. By 2050, the U.S. can profit over $2 billion. Today's presentation is all about the opportunity that exists in the reuse and recycle markets. Now, I'm joined today by Bardia Vahidi from IBEC Inc. and Brian Musil from Solar Recycling Company, two experts in this market. Welcome, Brian. Welcome, Bardia. Thank you for being here.
Thank you, Rob.
Thank you. All right, welcome. So let me start with you, Brian. Give us an overview of your organization and who are you and what you do.
Sure. Let's bring up some quick slides here. Get this set up. And share this. Right. Hopefully you can see that okay. So hi, Brian Musil here, the founder and CEO of the Solar Recycling Company. I've been in the industry of recycling and repurposing IT equipment for over 20 years. Now, the Solar Recycling Company solely focuses on just that, solar panels that are being decommissioned, either for recycling or reuse. We serve the entire United States, but our headquarters is based in California, strategically located in the Palm Springs, Coachella Valley area, which has the highest concentration of solar installed in North America. We are the first and only company in the state of California permitted to mechanically recycle solar modules. Our process enables recovery and separation of roughly 98% of the solar panels materials, which then can go back into circulation. And if you're asking why, there are some studies I've read and just really got me into this. But there are some EPA studies that show that there are 9 million solar panels that are at the end of life as of today. And just in 5 years from now, that number jumps to 26 million. And by 2050, they're suggesting it's 2.25 trillion panels that could be headed for the landfills if nothing's done about it. But the more alarming part of this is what the EPA missed in their studies, which is early replacement of panels, breakage during installations, and natural disasters, wildfires, hailstorms, even recent hurricanes, tornadoes have been destroying solar farms. So if we add all those numbers, the estimates, the EPA estimates, it'll be 50 times sooner than what they estimated. So it's a major issue. Here's just a photo of our storage yard. This is only about 2,000 panels. So you can imagine the scale you need as millions of panels are coming through the system. And resell obviously is the first thing we want to do. Any good panel that could be resold, if it's not, you know, too old, if it has decent wattage, is still producing, is visually inspects well, they could be resold. And that's, you know, that's basically, that's who we are. That's what we do. And
Well, thank you, Brian.
yeah, so you can always contact us at solarrecycling.com as well.
Okay, so just your background from being in the IT disposition led you into the solar recycling side?
Yeah, just being, you know, 20 years of just in the industry and watching, going to the e-scraps and going to all the shows with you guys. And also when BrokerBin started EnergyBin, really caught my interest. And yeah, so it was just kind of following where their industry is going. And, you know, being a California native, and we have the most solar here, it was kind of really, I don't know, spoke to me to get into it. And, you know, now we're helping to solve the problem.
Fantastic, thank you. Bardia, you know, tell us a little about your organization.
Sure. First of all, thank you for having me, Rob. And it's a pleasure to be with you, Brian. My name is Bardia Vahidi, founder and CEO of IBEC Inc. And I have a PhD in engineering management, and I'm also a lead auditor for many management systems and also R2 certification since I believe 2008, first version released. I established the company in 2003, and since that time, we kind of covered over 800 companies, helping them with the auditing, training, and consulting. And it's a pleasure to be here and talking more about the compliance, R2 requirements, adding solar panels to companies they already have R2.
Oh, so over 800 companies you've helped get certified at one level or another in your
Yes, but not
time
just for R2. I'm talking about the ISO 9 and ISO 14, ISO 45, power and energy, oil and gas. Yes.
Okay. Now I got to hear from Brian a little bit what he thought about the current market conditions for these end-of-life panels. How about you? Tell us a little bit about what your perspective is, the current state of this market, and what do you think the major market conditions are when it comes to reuse and recycling today?
Yeah, actually, I was reading the article, from Wood Mackenzie, a few weeks ago, and it was amazed me because solar panels are booming, with the global, capacity expected to hit 6.3 terawatts by 2034. And the US alone is going to be around over 500 gigawatts. So, of course, this means more clean energy in the future. And we need to find the, sustainable methodology to just keep growing and, reuse and, recycle all these photovoltaic and, solar panels, devices.
And Rob, just I was listening to your stats of saying 80 to 90% are headed to landfill. That's pretty insane. And you're saying only 7% is on EnergyBin. So to me, that shows, like you said, how much growth could be here for resell and recycling and keeping these modules out of landfills.
Okay. Thank you, Brian. I mean, I that's what I sense. I see it happening on EnergyBin every day. The one thing that we get is we get a lot of calls. We get a lot of inquiries from people out there, either residents or commercial. They're looking to do something with these and they don't know what to do. And so that's where I think the growth is just there. And this question is going to be a little bit more for you, Bardia, because you certify organizations to help get to that next level. Can you tell me a little about the R2 international standards and what are the changes that they're looking to do for the solar panels besides just the IT information technology, IT equipment?
Sure. Let me share my screen. Okay, so I'm gonna go through very quick about what are under, what is Appendix G for the Waltic model and how companies they can add to their existing management system. So I'm pretty sure you're familiar with this. R2V3 is broken into two main categories. We call core requirements and process requirements. So core requirements apply to all R2 certified facilities. No matter what kind of processes they have to comply with it. And the second section is process requirements, Appendix A to G. And these are additional requirements applied only to facilities that perform these specific processes. So I'm going to go through them very quick. Appendix E, downstream vendor recycling chain. Appendix B, data sanitization. If the companies, they receive something containing data. For data sanitization, we are talking about the logical data sanitization or physical data sanitization. We have Appendix C, specifically for test and repair. So companies, they can do just test or, send the, for repair to the approved downstream vendor, but all they, explain under Appendix C. Also, we have Appendix D, is a specialty electronic, requirements. That's for the companies working with the, medical devices or telecommunication. We have Appendix E, material recovery, is for the final processors. And we have Appendix F for brokers. And now, after in midsummer, are to release Appendix G for the Waltic modules for the companies to get certified to that. And let me go. So the first question maybe companies have is, okay, is it applicable to us? What that means? So the general principle on that for R2 was to make sure companies, they receive, solar panels or, photovoltaic modules. They know how to, process in place, handle them safety, environmental, with the environmental consideration, and according with all the, R2 requirements. So who's, applicable is any facility that receive, handle, process, stores, transport, or brokers any quantity of PV modules on their facility. So they can, they must certify to Appendix G, okay? On the bottom, I put it just kind of timeline to see. So in June 2024, standards, the code of practice for R2 release, auditors, they went through the training, and mid-summer, companies start implementing and go through the audit. And still, if you have some downstream, they handle, you send your, solar panels to. If they are not, they don't have Appendix G, still you can ship to them and treat them as non, R2 company. But we have a, section on their downstream vendor evaluation under A, what kind of information you need to get from them. But the deadline is January 31st, 2027 for all the companies to, if they handle Appendix G, to certify to R2 under G requirements. So now, what is the definition of photovoltaic modules? And the base pair R2, they said the definition is a standalone device designed to convert solar radiation into electrical energy. So we call that all the photovoltaic modules or solar panel. And another term, I'm pretty sure companies, they already have R2, they are familiar with the, focus material. And I did lots of, questions about that. And what we call it under solar panels as focus material. And the only part is solar cells. And the reason behind it is because they are often, contain lead, cadmium, or beryllium, or potentially hazardous, material. So they have to handle properly. So now the question is, okay, if you want to do add the Appendix G, what are the requirements are? What are the changes we need to make? So under R2, under Core 1, we talk about the scope. It means the companies, they want to have solar panels, they have to add Appendix G to the scope. and they're mentioned, they handle those. As far as, under R2, we have a control and R2 control stream and unrestricted stream. So again, they have to go through that process and define based on the item to receive, they handle them as a control stream.
Okay.
And unless they are brand new on the OEMs. And requirements we have under 3 and 6 core requirements. They are like, for health and safety, hazard identification, how they consider all the risks associated to their processes. And we have the legal and compliance requirements under core 4. They have to make sure they are compliant with those. It depends on what state they are located, what are the regulatory requirements, or what countries they are. So they have to make sure they have a compliance plan and cover those requirements. Tracking under core 5 is still they need to make sure all the inbound, outbounds, and tracking of these solar panels throughout their facility, and make sure if they ship it to the downstream, they have all the BOLs, record of shipment, and those kind of things. And under 6, we have the same thing as far as the sorting and categorization. For the further processing, they need to just evaluate those solar panels to see if there is a potential for reuse or repair, or if you have to handle it as a scrap and send it to approved downstream vendors so they can handle. And under 7 to 10, we are not that much worried about the data security, because those solar panels, they don't have data unless they have the whole entire equipment together. So they have to check for the data or if there's any customer data on it. And as far as 8 focus material, we talk about that it's solar panel. Just the section we consider as a solar cells on solar panels, we consider as a focus material. And of course, we have under 9 facility requirements, how they store it, how they keep it inside or outside, and also if they require to have to cover the proper insurance, closure plan, and those kind of things. And of course, 10, it was under transportation, how they're going to transport those. So these are the main things we have for all facilities they want to get R2, not appendix D, just for all other appendices. For requirements is mandatory, so they have to make sure they're compliant with those requirements. Now, the next is the section we talk about the process requirements and what they need to do. So again, for downstream vendor, they have to define who's going to be their downstream, get the documentation from them. They have to just evaluate those downstream and see if that downstream is qualified as a R2 certified, or if not, treat them as a R2 and non-R2. I'm not going to dive in go detail. Those are all the requirements on the standards. Companies, they can see what they need to get and to approve the downstream. Then we are talking about we talk about the if they're applicable for them for the data sanitization. Depends on what kind of equipment they are planning to receive. And for the testing, PV modules can be tested, they can refurbished or repair internally if they have based on the appendix C test and repair. Or even if companies, they prefer just to do the test and send someone out for the company or service providers to handle the repair on their behalf. They can do that, but they have to evaluate them under Appendix A downstream vendor for repair evaluation and get all the proper documentation from. And of course, they can do process those tests, those internally if they have a technician or competency to do that. And they have to just update it. We have a reuse plan for under R2 for all the all other IT equipment. So they have to just add that to it and just make sure they have the test method, pass or fail, and also product safety plans and procedures. And processing for reuse by downstream vendor, if they send it, just you have to I went through that quick when I talk about the Appendix A before. Just we have to make sure they comply with the requirements, whatever we have under the downstream recycling chain for repair and refurbishing. So. And if the company, processing for the material recovery, they have to make sure they're compliant with the E requirements. It means like, they have a certified industrial hygiene, do all the heavy metal testing for them, make sure they have a sufficient closure plans. They to make sure they have all their employees, they went through the training. And these are some samples of the requirements, but we have a list of the requirements under Appendix E, and they can go through them. And I believe
Okay.
that's it. Yeah. And of course, there are some companies they want to just do the brokering, buy and sell of the solar panels without bring it to their facility. Again, they can do that, but they have to operate to make sure they comply with the all F brokering too, and that all the information for the Appendix A for the downstream vendor recycling chain.
Wow, Bardia, that's the standards that you established are quite thorough and quite complete. And this is a question for you, Brian, and because I saw that date you put in there, January 31st, 2027, was it?
Yeah.
And about becoming R2V3 compliant at that point. Now, Brian, from your experience from being R2V3 on the ITAD side, which is the information technology, electronics, how important is it in the electronics industry to be R2V3? Because that's been in place for a little bit longer than R2V3 for solar, correct? Am I correct in that statement, Bardi and Brian?
Yes, yeah. This is all new for the solar part, but yeah, as far as the IT side, I mean, it's very important to our clients. I mean, just the fact that the third party audits, at least twice a year, just gives our clients confidence that we're doing everything properly and being audited on that. And just even just running your operations, once you get some processes in line that are also in line with the certifications, you're just going to streamline processes and standardize reporting and things like that. So just operationally, just makes you run smoother and checks and balances.
Yeah, where I was kind of going with that question, Brian, was I've been in both sides of the fence, and I see the importance of being certified from the ITAD side, from the information technology, and in fact, you won't even get some business unless you're certified. Is that correct? Because the standards that it's expected from your upline that you have to hold to your downline, correct?
Yes, we've even from government, like bids, they're now calling out for R2 certification. So it's come a long way from where it was in the beginning, for sure.
Yes. So really, I'm trying to draw a parallel between what we're seeing happening in the solar industry now. Okay, we're starting to see the ability for people just buried in the landfill. That's ending quickly, right, Bardia? And is that what we're talking about? And the importance of becoming certified, and the importance of why you want to become an R2 certified, because it's not only about being certified how you're going to recycle it, but in the process and the standards that's going to be expected to keep this hazardous material out of the ground. Is that correct?
Yes, I think I believe the standard is mostly because we have to go through all the hierarchy of the sustainability, right? So I believe the standards encourage people to, at the beginning, focus on the reuse. So if they do the evaluation and see, and then if there's potential for reuse, or if there's any issue, these are fixable, then the next layer is going to be, you can repair them, and or harvesting parts, and then the last is for the recycling and send it to end of life process. It depends on the country, and depends on the for example, in the US, different states, they have their own different regulations. So on that, it's just you have to, I know all the government agencies, they are working on that to find the solution. And probably because I believe Brian already dealing with few, maybe we can give us a little more detail about the state he's working on. But it's all, I can see everybody they're working on it to find the kind of good solution for it.
I agree. Brian, I heard you talk about it. I mean, first of all, we're talking green technology. Let's bring that back in. I mean, we're talking about renewable energy, and once the energy is used from this panel, what do? Do you throw it away? Of course not. You know, we have to live up to what the green technology is sustainability, and that's what you're seeing as well, right, Brian?
Yes, absolutely. So being able to recycle and mechanically grind down the panels and separate the aluminums and silver and copper and all the elements in there to be able to go back into reuse. I mean, that's amazing that the technology exists now. It's really going to help.
I personally think it's going to be a standard sooner than we think from not just each individual state, but from the whole, you know, at least the United States government, you know, if not in every individual state. But okay, so I don't want to take too much of your time up. How can we learn more about your organizations, Brian? Bardia?
For us, easy, solarrecycling.com. That's it. So go to the website, all our information is on there. We'll be happy to talk to you about any questions you may have.
How about you, Bardia? How can we learn a little bit more about your organization?
For us, it's very easy. You can follow our company on LinkedIn. We have over many people there following us there, and we always release the updates about the standards changes. Also, they can check our website ibeci.com, and on our blog posts we give them the updates, and they can learn more about what's going on in the industry, what kind of be the trends, and you can reach out through email and whatever works for you.
All right. Well, I want to thank you, Bardia and Brian, for excellent information. I know we have a whole bunch of additional questions, but we're running out of time, guys. So what we'll try to do is we'll pass these back and we'll answer them individually, come back to you guys. But I do want to, let everybody know it's kind of coming to an end today. So I want to thank you, Bardia. I want to thank you, Brian, for all the sharing about this opportunities in solar panel reuse, recycling, the certification process. It's so important moving forward. So, if you want more information, by all means, you can be able to download these slides or just reach out to us at EnergyBin, and we'll make sure you get in contact with Bardia, Brian, myself, and get you the proper information. Thank you, everybody, for participating today.
Yep. Thank you. Thanks, Rob.
Thank you, Rob. Thank you for having me.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. We'll see you next time on EnergyBin webinars.
All right. See you guys.